The aircraft existed. It flew. It worked. And the United States still decided it could never be used. By the time the program was shut down, more than $1 billion had already been spent. The technology was mature. The test flights were successful. The engineers had solved problems that had taken decades to overcome. On paper, this aircraft should have become a cornerstone of future United States air power. Instead, it was quietly locked away. No combat deployment, no operational squadrons, no second chance. The reason had nothing to do with performance, and everything to do with what happened once the aircraft actually worked. The aircraft was the X-47B, a stealth, carrier-based, unmanned strike aircraft designed to do something no other system in the world had ever done. Launch from an aircraft carrier, fly autonomously in contested airspace, penetrate modern air defenses, and land itself back on a moving carrier deck at sea. In 2013, the X-47B did exactly that. It trapped aboard a U.S. aircraft carrier without a pilot. No joystick, no human corrections. Just software, sensors, and algorithms making split-second decisions in one of the most dangerous aviation environments on Earth. From a technical standpoint, it was a triumph. From a strategic standpoint, it was a problem. Because once the X-47B proved it could work, the U.S. military was forced to confront a question it had spent decades avoiding. Who is responsible when an autonomous aircraft decides to strike? The X-47B was not a drone in the way most people think of drones. It was not remotely piloted like a Predator or a Reaper. It was designed to operate with a level of autonomy that removed humans from the immediate decision loop. The aircraft could plan routes, adjust to threats, manage fuel, and respond to system failures. And eventually, it was designed to strike targets deep inside defended airspace. That capability is exactly why it was built, and exactly why it was never deployed. Carrier aviation is built around certainty, clear command authority, clear rules of engagement, clear accountability when something goes wrong. Every weapon release is tied to a human decision, a human voice, a human signature. The X-47B disrupted that structure. Because in a high-speed, contested environment, the aircraft would often need to react faster than a human commander could reasonably intervene. That meant allowing software to execute actions that traditionally required human authorization, and that made people uncomfortable. Not engineers, not test pilots, not naval aviators watching the demos. Commanders, lawyers, policymakers. If an autonomous aircraft misidentified a target, who was responsible? The commander who approved the mission? The engineer who wrote the code? The officer who authorized autonomous modes? There was no clear answer. And without a clear answer, the aircraft could not be cleared for combat. At the same time, the X-47B created another problem, one that was less philosophical and more institutional. It threatened the future of manned carrier aviation. The aircraft did not get tired. It did not require life support systems. It did not need a cockpit. That meant it could be smaller, stealthier, and more fuel efficient than any manned aircraft operating from a carrier. It also meant it could stay airborne longer, fly deeper, and take greater risks. And that raised an uncomfortable possibility. If the X-47B worked as intended, it would eventually outperform manned strike fighters in the very missions carrier aviation was built around. That put it in direct competition with programs like the F-35C. The Navy was already committed to a manned future. Carrier air wings, training pipelines, promotion structures, and command culture were all built around human pilots. Introducing a fully autonomous strike aircraft would not just add capability, it would reshape the entire institution. And institutions do not change easily. So the mission began to shift. The X-47B was rebranded as a technology demonstrator, then as a test platform, then as a stepping stone towards something else. The strike role was quietly de-emphasized. By the time the Navy transitioned to the MQ-25 Stingray program, the X-47B's most revolutionary capability had been removed. The MQ-25 would be unmanned. It would operate from carriers, but it would not strike targets. It would refuel other aircraft. Safe, useful, non-controversial. The message was clear. The Navy wanted unmanned systems, just not ones that made lethal decisions. So the X-47B was retired, not because it failed, but because it succeeded too early. Its technology did not disappear. Autonomous landing algorithms were absorbed into future programs. Stealth shaping influenced later designs. Sensor fusion and decision logic informed the next generation of unmanned systems. But the aircraft itself was never deployed. 2 airframes, billions of dollars spent, 0 combat missions. The X-47B forced the US military to confront a future it was not ready to accept. A future where machines operate faster than human command structures, where decision windows are measured in seconds, where insisting on human authorization may mean arriving too late. The aircraft proved that technology was no longer the limiting factor. Doctrine was, the X-47B did not lose to enemy air defenses. It did not lose to budget cuts. It did not lose to engineering challenges. It lost to hesitation. Because deploying it would have required redefining responsibility, authority, and trust at the highest levels of military command. And that decision was harder than building the aircraft itself. So it was shelved, not as a failure, but as a warning. The future of air warfare is not being held back by what machines can do. It is being held back by how fast humans are willing to let them act. And for now, that gap remains just wide enough to keep some of the most advanced aircraft in history grounded forever.